looking, and then after I do these runs, we'll talk a little bit about, you know, the differences in what we're looking at.
Okay.
All right, so kick off here. Set up wide. All right, look at this second pointer. Pointer down to the other side. Second pointer. Second go to the slalom. Into the slalom. Second cone. Down to the six pack. Let's see. That. This one. Towards the finish.
Yeah, I noticed your head was always.
Yeah, my head's always moving, and you know especially in this section here, you know, you're pretty much always turning your head. You're gonna have to look all the way out this window. In some cases, pretty much over your shoulder, kind of like around here, to be able to pick up the next cone.
Yeah.
So the reason we teach this is because what you want to be doing is always driving to the next element. So, in other words, where the car is at now isn't really what matters. What matters is what you still have control over, which is I still have control over where the car is going to be in 50 feet or 100 feet.
Okay.
There's not much I can do about it with what's right in front of me.
Yeah.
So every input I make, every steering input, every throttle input, every brake input, is really designed to set me up for the next thing. Okay. And that's kind of the emphasis of what we're going to try to teach you with the looking ahead portion of this. Now, the reason that's important is because, you know, these elements don't exist in a vacuum. So, you know, the circle turns into something else. It goes into a slalom. That goes into a big sweeper. That goes into a big straight.
Yep.
They all connect together. So getting out of one and into one smoothly is just as important. So, like for instance, going into that sweeper in the back, it's really important to get out of it good, because you have such a long throttle zone. Is that if you take a wrong line or you're on the throttle late, it can be a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
And what we want to do when we're going through that sweeper is to visualize said line.
Okay.
Now we'll mess with you a lot more later today, so this is really just kind of a primer on where to put the car.
Yeah.
But this first one is important because you need to really imagine there's kind of like a visible cone
there. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of out there in space, because I kind of drive around this one that doesn't exist in order to set myself up right for it.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Get around it, right on top of it. There we go.
So how do you think it handles?
Not too bad. This isn't a performance spec car, is it?
No.
Yeah.
Just the baseline.
Needs the diff.
Needs a diff?
Needs the diff. I actually have a vested interest in liking it because I'm kind of shopping one of these.
Oh, you are? Quick question.
Yes.
When you come around where he's coming around right now, do you tap the brakes at all or no?
I did on that time just because I set my lineup a little bit wrong.
Yeah.
You might have to, just because there isn't a lot of grip in these tires. The main thing is more about car positioning, less brake input, throttle input, but getting the car right on the cones where it's supposed to be. Now we talked about this with the phase one, which is a lot of the emphasis is on car positioning as opposed to direct inputs, because that's really what matters the most. You can go around the course at 80 miles an hour and miss all your spots. You'll be slower than somebody who is going 50 miles an hour but is taking the shortest distance and hitting all their marks.
Yeah.
All right, let's see Let's see what you've learned.
Okay.
Let's go.
Nope.
Just slow down a little bit more. All right, turn your head. You gotta be looking at that pointer. You gotta be looking at that second cone in the slalom. Look towards the six-pack, towards the six-pack. There you go. Brake. All right, so see, perfect example. You know, we have that left-right offset into the finish.
Yeah.
Carried a lot of speed through the first one. Really tough to get through the second one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we gotta check up. We gotta check up earlier in that left turn before we get to that left turn, so that getting through that second one is a lot easier. We can get on the throttle sooner and carry the throttle through the finish.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and head up again. All right, whenever you're ready. Remember to set up wide. And get behind this. Towards the six-pack. There you go.
Actually tap the gas.
We still need to slow down about 10% in most corners.
Okay.
So the first corner, I think you're not even touching the brake before you turn the wheel, are you?
I was gonna say that the last two times, no, I should be.
Yeah, we need to check up. We need to check up on the brake before we make that left, because we got to get right. That cone's hard to get on, right? We got to get right on it as much as we can.
Okay.
And that means we're gonna have to go slow. So we talked about this a lot with the phase one yesterday, which is knowing when to go fast and when to go slow. So it's really important to make sure that that's one of those sections you go slow on.
Okay.
This is the rest of this is okay. Going into the slalom though is the same sort of thing. Is that you come up the hill and you really need to back your braking point up about 10 or 15 feet. So that way you can get really close to that first cone that you need to get on.
Okay.
And then the same thing applies to the finish.
Yeah, I was gonna say around the backside over there too. I'll cut that way too short too.
Yeah, you sort of pinched yourself off because you notice you had to open the wheel up and then put more wheel in it again. You want to try to avoid that. And part of what makes that easier is again trying to visualize your line.
Yeah.
You know, looking once you get into the middle of that sweeper, you need to be looking towards that six-pack and trying to pick that up and trying to visualize when the six-pack and that cone kind of come into the same plane, because your line is between those things. So you need to try to get the car to the line that you visualize.
Yeah.
Which your eyes are going to tell you that as much as you can.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Stay tight, good. Stay tight. There you go, better. Brake hard. There you go. There you go. So the end was a lot better, but it probably felt a lot different, I guess.
Yeah, a little different. I was gonna say a left-hander. I wasn't so far over to the right, and I set up the right-hand turn better too.
Well, you were just as far off to the right on the setup. It was you just slowed down more because I was saying you brake hard. And you slowed down more, and you slowed down enough. But probably in your brain, you're telling yourself, I hit the brakes way too much. I felt like I was going really slow. But
Kind of.
that's how it's supposed to feel.
Yeah.
It's supposed to feel like when you sort of cross that threshold of, I feel like I'm going too slow, chances are, in a lot of cases, you're probably just fine.
Yeah.
And then it was a lot easier to get through that finish, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier, and you're able to get on the throttle probably 5 to 10 feet sooner.
Yeah.
All right, so we got 2 more runs, including this one that we're about to take.
Okay. Let's pull up the cones
Yep.
then.
I'll wait till Sam moseys out of the way. All right, let's do it. Get on there,
much.
get on it, get on it. Second cone slalom. Visualize that line. We still got to tighten up that far sweeper. We still got to tighten that up just a touch.
Okay.
So we were really rubbing the, kind of really running the pretty close to that pointer cone. All right. So we got one more run.
Okay. Should I go around him, or?
Yeah, go ahead. So we'll stop here at the
I
start.
noticed too, like right here, I'm not going wide enough either in the beginning.
Yeah, you started out okay, and then you started to regress because then I had to start telling you to get on that cone because you were turning in. You ended up really kind of turning in a little bit too early,
Yeah.
and then you weren't really sort of adapting to it. So again, let the car come out a little bit. Get the car slowed down. It's a slow turn, so
Okay.
go slow. Get it right on that cone, that cone, that cone, and that cone. The car
Yeah,
should
I'm
be
gonna
right
try
on the base.
shifting probably about where the second cones are.
Yes.
To short shift it.
Yep.
Ready?
All right. Get on it. Get on it. Good. Better. Much better. Don't overshoot it. Alright, set it for the 6-pack. There you go. Go. I would say if that were on a clock, that would probably be the best one.
Huh?
That would probably be the best one we've done if it was on the timer.
Okay.
So, what do you feel like you learned?
Position of where you are really does make a difference.
Yeah. Made it easier to have, felt like you have more control of the car.
Yes. And imagining the line where you need to take and slowing down on tighter corners than what I have been doing.
Yeah.
Applying the brakes more. Try not to give it as much throttle either.
Yeah.
The problem is with this, you can't disable the traction control completely the whole way.
Right. It's only half off.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And I need an LSD too.
Yeah, and you need a performance package car.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So that was good. What we're going to be doing more later on is doing a lot more looking ahead exercises, and we'll
Okay.
kind of play mental games and stuff with you and
Okay.
screw with you a lot. So, there'll be more sessions later on in the day, but this is mostly just a kind of review / primer for the stuff we're going to do in the afternoon.
Okay.
All right.
Yep, thank you.
Awesome job.